What's good, YouTubers and YouTubettes? This is JB Sports back again with another one. Bob Arum, aka the Bob Father, has weighed in on the Dillian Whyte failed PED test. He says the BBBoC handling of the Dillian Whyte situation is an absolute disgrace. He also says that the commissioner's integrity is on the line. So they got to make this thing right. They've got to make this thing right. Basically is what he's saying. He also says that he is now panicked about Loma Chico having to travel to the UK and fight Luke Campbell. He's worried about his top fighter getting the short end of the stick. Now, Eddie Hearn made a bad mistake. When he first got notified about Dillian Whyte, that he had failed the PED test, he should have pulled Dillian Whyte off the card. That's just the bottom line. He should have pulled Dillian Whyte off the card. The fight still could have took place. He should have pulled Dillian Whyte off the card, just like he pulled Gerald Miller off the card when his test came out positive before the Anthony Joshua fight. It wasn't, the time of the fight was different. This was like months out before he was scheduled to fight Anthony Joshua when Gerald Miller failed the test, but he immediately pulled him off the card. And he could have done that in this instance. He should have pulled Dillian Whyte off the card. Should have elevated Derek Chisora. Put Derek Chisora in the fight with Oscar Rivas. That would have been a great friendly fight. You got two come forward fighters fighting. That'd have been a lot of fireworks, man. Been a good fight. And if Derek Chisora would have been able to defeat Oscar Rivas, that would have just elevated his status. And that's another guy that you got under Matchroom Boxing, along with, you're working with his manager, what's the guy named? David Hay. You're working with his manager, David Hay. Can't forget about David, my toe hurts Day. David, my toe hurts Hay. Yeah, you're working with him, so you should have elevated Derek Chisora to that Oscar Rivas fight. Who knows? Maybe he would have got a highlight reel knockout of Oscar Rivas like he did with Arthur Spilker. And then you still could have went to the WBC and asked them could they still sanction this fight as a WBC interim fight, and the winner gets the mandatory position. Or you could have said, well, okay, depending on Derek Chisora's rankings, I don't even know if Derek Chisora is ranked in the WBC. If he is, he's ranked low. He's not nowhere in the top 5. But you could have said, well, okay, if Oscar Rivas wins, he gets the mandatory position. If Derek Chisora wins, it'd just be a good win for him, and maybe he'll get ranked in the somewhere in the top 10 of the WBC ranking, and then they'll set him up with another fight where he possibly can get higher. That's what they could have done. He should have pulled Dillian Whyte off the card. That's the mistake he made. But no, he had tunnel vision. He was thinking small picture instead of big picture. He was thinking about Dillian Whyte, man, people coming to see Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte has been doing good pay-per-view fights over here for the last 3 fights, doing good numbers. We got a sellout crowd or near sellout crowd at the O2 Arena. He's basically my UK, cash cow over there as far as pay-per-view fights. I got AJ over here. He's getting ready to rematch Ruiz. He's one more loss away from being irrelevant. So, this guy might be my next best chance to get those belts back. Or get one of those belts back if he defeats Deontay Wilder. So basically Dillian Whyte is a number 2 fighter behind AJ, and with AJ, like I said, being one loss away from being irrelevant, Dillian Whyte is a guy that is very high on the Matchroom on the Matchroom. He's held in very high regard in Matchroom. They know he's basically their second most he's their second most profitable fighter behind AJ. They've got better fighters skill-wise than AJ, probably under Matchroom stable, but he's their second most profitable fighter under Anthony Joshua. As you've seen when he fought Oscar Rivas, that was Sky pay-per-view. When he fought Chisora, the rematch, that was Sky pay-per-view. When he fought Joseph Parker, that was Sky pay-per-view. So there was a lot on the lines, and he wasn't willing to do the right thing and notify Oscar Rivas and his people, and at least give them the opportunity to pull out of the fight, or take you could offer them more money, or you could have done what I the original point I made. You could have just told him, hey, we're gonna pull Dillian Whyte from this fight. He popped dirty. We're gonna elevate Derek Chisora to fight you, and we're gonna. I already called the WBC and notified them, and I told them that, you know, and I'm politicking to them for you to maintain your chance to become mandatory if you defeat Derek Chisora, just like you would have become mandatory if you would have defeated Dillian Whyte. That's what Eddie Hearn should have did. That's what he should have did. But no, he didn't want to do that. He thinking small picture. He thinking small picture. He's thinking about, hey, man, it's only 3 days, 72 hours before the fight, man. I got all these tickets sold, and I got this pay-per-view lined up with Sky Sports. I got Dillian Whyte, my second most profitable fighter, my UK cash cow, and I don't want to mess this up, man. And, you know, I don't want to mess this up. I'm just gonna sweep this under the rug. I'm not gonna notify them. I'm gonna go ahead with this fight so my company can make money. And that's what you did, man. That's what you did, you know. Let's not forget about the Zone. The Zone was showing this fight. So I got to put on a product for the Zone, and hopefully this fight will, it's not going to do nothing for United States subscriptions. Ain't nobody care about this fight in the USA, but just maybe up to subscriptions. And I don't know if they got the Zone in Colombia, but, you know, they got the Zone in different countries. Maybe this will help out, you know, continue to up the subscriptions in Italy and these other places, Canada and these other places that have the Zone. So he was thinking about money and making a profit instead of, and he was thinking short term. Yeah, you gonna make your money short term. Yeah, the fight, you know, you're not gonna let nobody know, and this fight's gonna do good on pay-per-view. We'll see what the numbers come out. I say we'll see what the numbers come out. UK don't never release pay-per-view numbers. They talk about they do this and do that, and they sold this many tickets, but it's nothing never official about how many pay-per-view buys you done. But I say he probably would have did some decent pay-per-view, and he would have did, because their pay-per-view is cheap. It's like, what, $20 for Sky Sports pay-per-view over there? $20 or something like that. So they would have did. I think you know, this is his third pay-per-view, so obviously he's making money over there. He's very profitable fighter over there for the UK when they put him on pay-per-view. So that's obvious. So he was thinking short term instead of thinking big picture. You know, if once this do come out, you know, if it comes out, if it get leaks, what is this gonna do to my reputation? Me not letting another fighter know that he's fighting one of my fighters who is pop dirty for PEDs. I'm putting this guy's life on the line. You know what I'm saying? I'm putting this guy's life on the line here. You know, I just was on many YouTube channels condemning and ostracizing Gerald Big Baby Miller for popping dirty. This gonna make me look like a hypocrite. Maybe other promoters won't want to come over here to fight my fighters. Andy Reeves is already in the news saying that he don't want to come over here. He said he's more comfortable fighting in New York. If this stuff gets found, if this stuff gets leaked, or this stuff eventually comes out, it's gonna make it more harder for me to get him to come over here and fight my number one cash cow and AJ. Come over here and fight him in the UK. And we know we need to get those belts back in the UK, because that's the only thing that's the only thing that's keeping this whole thing afloat. Because if AJ loses, then that's just Dillian Whyte, and that's it, man. And Dillian Whyte is back to domestic level. You know, we on the world stage right now with AJ. You know, even with the loss, we on the world stage. We get the rematch and get the win. We on the world stage. But if AJ loses, we're gonna be back to domestic level. You know, and we back, but at least on the domestic level, we still got Dillian Whyte, who's doing good pay-per-view numbers in the UK. You know what I'm saying? You gotta think big picture, man. You gotta think big picture. Big picture. Derek Chisora could have been that guy. You elevate him up there, and he beat Oscar Rivas, knocks Oscar Rivas out in highlight reel fashion like he did Arthur Spilker. And then you ain't lost the beat, man. What's the difference between? It ain't that much difference between Dillian Whyte and Derek Chisora, if you just want to be just looking at it from that aspect, you know, as far as my company aspect, it ain't that much difference between them two. To me, you know, Dillian Whyte, Derek Chisora won the first fight. It was close. He won the first fight. In the second fight, he was winning that until the referee got involved in the fight, started warning Derek Chisora, but they never warned Dillian Whyte for constantly doing the Vladimir Klitschko, leaning on his neck, leaning on his head every time he chances to get, trying to tire him out, leaning on him. You never warned him about that. And Derek Chisora took matters into his own hand and hit him once you was trying to break him up. He hit him during the breakup, and then you took a point from him, didn't even warn him. And he had to change the game plan up, thinking the referee was against him, and thinking with that point deduction, maybe he was behind in the fight, and thinking that he was behind in the fight, and he got reckless and got caught and got knocked out. So it's not no much difference, man. Then he goes out here and knocks Spilker out in highlight real fashion. Now they talking about maybe getting him a fight with Joseph Parker. That'll be a headliner fight. That ain't gonna be no co-main event. That'll be a main event fight for Derek Chisora. So like I said, he's thinking small picture. He should have been thinking big picture. If I was Eddie Hearn, like I said, I would have pulled Dillian Whyte off that card. I would have said, you on the shelf, man. You're on the shelf. We gotta wait till this B sample come back. And if this B sample come back negative, then we'll set you up with another fight next year. But if they ain't come back positive like the first test came back positive, then you're gonna have to deal with the BBBoC. You got to deal with UCAD, and you got to deal with VADA, and the punishment. You just got to take your punishment, man. You just got to take your punishment, man. And it is what it is. That's what he should have did. He should have pulled him from the card, elevated Derek Chisora. Derek Chisora is very known, and it ain't like he's a nobody. Very known, been on pay-per-view cards. Never, and I think he's headlined some pay-per-view cards. He fought Vitaly Klitschko, put up a good fight against Vitaly Klitschko. Fought Tyson Fury twice. I think those fights probably were on pay-per-view. If not, they were main event fights that were seen by many people in the UK. So this guy's got a good name. I would have elevated him and put him on the main event with Oscar Rivas. That would have been a fan-friendly fight. Both fighters like to come forward. Somebody could have possibly getting knocked out. I'm not saying he would have knocked him out like he did off the Spilker, because Oscar Rivas has a better chin than Spilker. But you never know, man. Talcum had a good chin. He knocked the Talcum out. So maybe he could have did the same thing with Oscar Rivas, man. You could have put that fight on, and then onto Spilker, you could have elevated David Allen, David Price, one of them two, to fight Spilker. Because both of them two guys are journeyman UK domestic level fighters. So you could have I'd have put David Price up there. It seemed like he's probably got a little bit more of a following than David Allen. I'd have put David Price up there and let him fight Arthur Spilker in a co-main event. And David Allen, man, is a certified C-level, domestic level fighter, man. And he could have fought another journeyman that's on the same status that he is. You could have put one of your other fighters from undercard and fought him, or I know you got some other fighters on standby, and you could have pulled one of them in at the last minute to fight Dave Allen. That's just another undercard fight. That's what you should have done. That's what you should have done. But no, you wanted to try to protect your cash cow of UK boxing and Dillian Whyte, and you tried to keep him on the card, and you was worried about the ramifications later. You was worried about lining your pockets up and matchroom pockets up first, and now you're gonna pay a heavy price for that. You're gonna pay a heavy price, man. You're gonna pay a heavy price. Now he's looking at 4 to 8 years suspension, and that's what he's looking at. Reports come out, he's looking at 4 to 8 years, and maybe they do him like they did Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury ended up serving. He ended up getting a time served suspension. He was out of boxing for 2 years or whatever, and when he came upon the commission, they said, well, you've been out of boxing for 2 years, and it'll just be time served. You can come back. So that's how they do. That's how they might do Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte. That's how they could have did Dillian Whyte if you just would have pulled him off the card and put him on the shelf, let them do their investigations, which could take over a year. Once they come back with the investigation, come back with the sentencing, he would have been sitting out for a year. It would have been time served, and so you could take that off whatever time they gave him. Say they give him 4 years, it'd be 3 years. He could have came back. Say they give him 2 years like they gave Tyson Fury, he could have said out 1 more year and been back in boxing. Or maybe they just give him a year suspension. Maybe they say it was only small traces of the PED substance in there. We just gonna give you a year, and with you being out a year, waiting on them to come with a verdict, you just come right back. Then you say your time served. The year's already you've been served. We gave you 1 year. You already served the 1 year. You can come back right away. You know what I'm saying? In that case, Eddie Hearn nose would have been clean. His reputation wouldn't have been getting sullied. His reputation wouldn't have been dragged through the mud, and he could have still, kept him in his matchroom boxing reputation clean in most circles. Keep his reputation clean in most circles. He done a lot of shady stuff in the past, as I noted on my videos, but a lot of fans don't know about this. But this is such a big story. People starting to find out what Eddie Hearn is all about. So he could have kept that at bay, but he chose to look small picture instead of big picture, and now you see what's going on, man. You see what's going on. Now Eddie Hearn now Bob Arum is panicked about one of his top fighters coming over here and fighting. Now you got another thing he should have been looking at too. You know during this situation that when you found out about Dillian Whyte popping dirty, Andy Ruiz had been saying that he did not want to come to the UK. Say he's more comfortable fighting in the USA. He say he's more comfortable fighting in New York. You should have, this situation here, knowing that your #1 cash cow is getting ready to fight Ruiz, and Ruiz is not wanting to come over here, and you want to keep this thing from going to court. That's another reason why you shouldn't have let this you should have pulled Dillian Whyte off the card, because when you didn't pull him off the card and went ahead with this fight, and it's found out he's popping dirty, and Oscar Rivas and his camp is talking about suing and everything, and then not his glove controversy is coming up. Well, Dillian Whyte got his gloves changed at the last minute, and Oscar Rivas and his camp wasn't even allowed to inspect the new gloves. And then before he switched to the new gloves the day before when they was selecting the gloves, Oscar Rivas, his camp wasn't even able to the gloves they bought in. They told them they couldn't fight in those gloves they bought in. They were saying you could look at these gloves. These gloves are good. There's nothing wrong with these gloves. But they wasn't allowed to even fight the gloves that they brought in to the glove selection. They had to fight the gloves that Dillian Whyte and his people selected. And then after they agreed to him to that situation, he's changed the gloves anyway at the last minute, and they weren't able to inspect those gloves. We talking about the day of the fight. We talking about in the ring, not talking about the day of the fight, the night of the fight. We talking about in the arena, and prior to the fight, same night of the fight. They in the arena, and he switched gloves at the last minute, and he's got the gloves already on, and Oscar Rivas and his people coming to the dressing room, and they want to inspect the gloves that Dillian Whyte changed at the last minute. And the boxing officials say, "Nah, man, he already got the gloves on. He's not gonna take the gloves out. Those gloves are good. We already seen them, but he's not gonna take those gloves out so you can inspect them. So you don't know what he had in them gloves. You don't know what had in them gloves. You know what I'm saying? So it was a whole lot of shenanigans going on, and they had to take the gloves that they couldn't, and that's off the back of the day before when they couldn't even select the gloves that they wanted to fight in, and they said you could see them, you could look at them. They offered them to Dillian Whyte and his people to look at them, to inspect them, but there was the gloves that they were comfortable with, and they weren't even allowed to fight in them. They had to fight in the gloves that Dillian Whyte chose, and then at the last minute he switched those gloves up and get some gloves that Oscar Rivas and his people couldn't even inspect. So it was a lot of shady stuff going on. And I doubt if this is the first time happened. It's just like when somebody runs a stop sign, they run 100 stop signs, and they run a stop sign and get pulled over and get a ticket. That's not more likely that's not the first time they ran that stop sign. It's just the first time they got caught. And like I say, these shenanigans going on in the UK is not the first time they've been doing this stuff with the gloves and the changing of the gloves, and not letting their opponents select the gloves or have any kind of say so in what type of gloves get used in the fight. That's not the first time this thing has been going on. The getting the exemptions for performance enhancing drugs, like AJ has been getting them when he's over there in the UK. He's getting the exemptions to use PED, performance enhancing drugs. And Gerald Miller brought that up in the first press conference leading up to the Joshua Miller fight. He brought that up when Anthony Joshua tried to accuse him of popping dirty in the past for PEDs. So this stuff has been going on. Now it's come to light. What they say, what goes in the dark comes out in the light. That's what's going on here in the UK, man. So it's going, you just made it, you made it that much harder to get Anthony Ruiz over to the UK to fight Anthony Joshua. He see these type of shenanigans going on. He just said that he's not going over there to the UK. He said it's a setup. Hashtag it's a setup. I'm not going over there to get trapped. That's what the words he's using. So that situation between Andy Ruiz and AJ might end up in court, and them belts might get split up. I might talk about that in another video, but that's just the ramifications of Eddie Hearn being short-sighted, thinking small pictures instead of looking big pictures, of the ramification of letting a guy that's failed a PED test and letting him go ahead and fight because you don't want to pull him from the card and pull him from the card because you're thinking about the money that you can make and Matchroom can make. Fatal decision, man. Flawed decision. And you're gonna pay for it, and you're gonna pay for it in a big way, in my opinion. So that's just my opinion on it, man. And you guys can comment me, man, and think about, give me your opinion on what you think about this video or what you think about the Eddie Hearn, Dillian Whyte PED situation, and let me know your thoughts, man. I'm about to get up out of here. This is JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend. I holla.